Alrighty, my friends, a lot of this you may already know. And for the newer volunteers and teachers, maybe you don't. You're going to hear monthly in our rallies now, every fourth Sunday of the month, we're going to go over a training aspect. Sometimes it's going to be repetitive and you're going to be like, oh, I already know. Please pay attention, listen, so you can start training your people in your room. Our goal is to always keep safety a priority. And when we have a lot of turnover or new volunteers starting, we can't assume that everybody knows everything. So no matter what, always tell your people training aspects, especially you guys as leaders. If you have any adults in your classroom that do not know how to check in or check out, please go over it with them. Basically, it's kind of like maybe a little 3-week process. Hey, watch me do it together. We're going to do it together. And then I'm going to stand here and watch you do it. And when I confidently know that you can handle check in and check out appropriately, then I'm going to basically pass it off to you. So you as the teacher can now do something else. So safety is our first priority. I should say Jesus first and safety second. But our safety protocols are designed to protect both the children in our care and our volunteers. They're based on best practices and are essential for maintaining a secure environment. Robert touched briefly on this for check-in and check-out, but we're just going to go over it. Every time a parent checks in their child, they get how many stickers? 3. One goes on the child, one's going to go on the clipboard, and one is going to go with the parent pickup code. So when those families come and check in, like Robert said, just kind of quickly verify that they're in your right classroom. And then make sure that phone number is correct. So if you need to get a hold of mom and dad, we can quickly just call them and page them over. And then you also need to make sure that that note sticker is going to go on the clipboard. And that's important because sometimes if we need to evacuate the building, we just want to make sure that we have the correct amount of stickers and the correct amount of children. So if we have 12 stickers on the clipboard, there should be 12 students in our care. If we have 12 stickers on the clipboard and there's actually 13 kids, well, we need to kind of take a pause if somebody notices that. And if I'm working with Alicia, I'm gonna be like, hey, Alicia, I'm gonna keep teaching, but can you kind of do a quick little evaluation of what kid we're missing? And then find that kid's sticker who is missing and then ask Julie or Rochelle or whoever's in the halls for a reprint of that sticker so we can put it back on the clipboard. When parents come to check out, they need to have that parent identification sticker. The sticker is always best, but if they have a photo of that sticker, that is also acceptable. One incident that happened last week, I was in threes and I called for an ID verification because mom and dad came and dropped off the boy and then had service. Dad came back and I'm like, okay, here we go. And I was like, wait, says the right name, but the codes were different. And so I was kind of like, and he looked at me and was like, oh, my wife went home and took the stickers. And so I reprinted my stickers. And I was like, how'd you get these? And he's like, oh, I just went on the iPad and printed it. So then I called Julie and I said, Julie, can you handle this situation for me? And I continued with checkout. Basically what happened is he was in that special window time of 30 minutes. 30 minutes before the next service started, the 11 o'clock service. So he was actually able to print stickers, but he was printing for the 11 o'clock service and not the 9 o'clock service. So that does happen. So whoever is doing checkout, you need to be very vigilant with those codes. If they're not matching, do not let the child go. If you're in the elementary rooms, you're going to call for safety and they will do that ID verification and handle that family so you can continue with checkout. If you're in nursery, you can say 0. Nursery through preschool, you're going to radio halls for an ID verification. Always do head counts. I'm just going to be a big advocate of do head counts constantly in your room. Whether it's you, whether it's your teammate, just making sure that those stickers on the clipboard is matching the current amount of kids you have. Sometimes where that's going to be an issue is when we do combined worship. This happened like 2 months ago. We combined worship. We went into the next room and they're like, where is Sally? I can't find Sally. We're like, She was still in elementary too. So that's why we do those colored dots so we can easily verify the child's in the wrong class. Those are also important moments of doing the head counts. How many kids do I have in elementary 1? 20 kids are coming over. 20 kids should come back unless you still have parents coming in. But again, check the amount of stickers on your clipboard. Know your count. Also, that helps with an evacuation if we need to go quickly. I know that I have those 30 kids. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 30. We're going. Never alone. There should always be 2 team members in a room with kids or going on potty runs. So to open up a room, you need to have 1 adult and another person with you, whether it's a teenager or another adult. If it's only 2 volunteers in the room and one of you needs to go to the restroom, tap your partner and say, hey, I gotta go to the restroom. Can you radio halls to have somebody step in so I can go to the bathroom? And that way there's always 2. 2 people just keeps us safe. It keeps the kids safe and making sure that there's no accusations that are happening. Next page. Appropriate touch. So we believe in expressing care and affection for children in appropriate ways. This includes high fives, encouraging pats on the back, and comforting hugs. Side hugs are best when children are in distress. So inappropriate touch is strictly prohibited. Lap sitting, this is always like that. What do we do? It's nursery through 3s. I'm going to say it's perfectly fine. They can sit on your lap. Just again, make sure that your hands are visible for everybody. Preschool's kind of that little gray area. Some of them still need comfort. Some of them are getting a little bit older. They shouldn't be sitting on your lap. Just use your best discretion. If you're unsure, talk to a staff member and say, is this okay to do? Again, if they're sitting on your lap, just make sure your hands are visible. Sometimes I'm just sitting and my hands are stretched out far so everybody can see. So we're not going to be like holding the kids like this. We're just going to be palms up. We're going to have them off to the side. Always encourage the kids if you can, hey, come sit next to me, not on my lap. For those older kids in elementary, they should not be sitting on your lap. If they're trying to sit on your lap, please tell them no. If they're not listening and they're very persistent with wanting to sit on your lap, guess what? Just stand up and just kind of stand next to them. Like we said, try to avoid those frontal hugs. I know sometimes it's hard. You're like running in and giving them a hug. Kind of just get down on their level and give them a hug. Tap them on the shoulder, their head. Again, I haven't seen this a lot, but no roughhousing, no piggyback rides. The babies were not throwing them up in the air, like woo, swinging them around or anything like that. So, good job, team. I haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, it has settled down. Yeah. Diaper changing. All of you are over the age of 18, so guess what? You need to change diapers, except for Robert, because he's a male. So, in your classroom, Julie does change diapers. Females, adults over the age of 18 can change diapers. Just make sure that you're looking on the check-in sheet to see, did the parent give you permission? That's the very important rule. If they did not, do not change them. Call the parents if they requested it. Some parents will say they'll be fine, don't check them, don't ask them, don't touch them. Cool. Respect their boundaries and their ask. When changing diapers, just make sure that you're putting down that liner, you're putting on the gloves, and changing the kids appropriately. If it's really, really stinky, we have extra little baggies that you can put it in a bag and then toss it into the diaper changing. Huh? Don't make faces. This is so great. Yeah. Bathroom protocols. The bathrooms inside of our building are for kids only, so little ones who are learning how to go potty all the way up to 5th grade. I know sometimes we have younger volunteers that are helping because their parents are serving and they're like, oh, I can go because it's a kid. Guess what? No, you cannot because you have the green vest on. So go over to venue 1, please, and use the restroom. If you're in a classroom and you've called for the potty run, please be patient with our hall people. They are doing their best to get all the potty runs done first and appropriately. So the younger side generally gets first priority of going to the bathroom, and then the older kids. I know sometimes we'll hear like, hey guys, like potty run in elementary 2 or 3, like please come. Just be patient. If Halls is really busy, then maybe they'll say you can take the kids out to come, but do not take out the kids without their permission first. Again, it's just safety and keeping everybody safe. Our Halls people, I don't really need to talk about it too much, but hallway people, basically the best protocol is to have 2 people walking kids to and from. Sometimes that always doesn't happen because one's still at the bathroom with another group of class and the other one's walking. Just making sure that we have visual eye contact with each other. The main thing is when going into the restroom, there has to be another person in there with like another person. So Julie, please come and be my assistant, Anna. So if we have Miss Alicia, a toddler, learning to potty train, needing to go to the restroom, and let's just say Julie's down the hall, and I'm gonna say Miss Alicia, little Alicia is asking for help, I'm gonna have to tell her, please wait, and I'm gonna get Julie, my friend. So Julie's gonna come over, and I'm gonna go walk into the bathroom. Sometimes we're gonna both go in, or Julie's gonna stand at that door and visually watch everything. This is to keep you safe, to make sure that A, you're not doing anything inappropriate, and it's also just making sure that the kid's not gonna say later on that Miss Kim did something, or Julie did something. The only thing we're allowed to do in the restrooms is assist with getting them on and off the toilet, handing them toilet paper, pulling up and down their pants if needed, and buttoning. You're not allowed to wipe or do anything. If the kid needs assistance wiping, here's the toilet paper, try to do your best, like wipe your bottom. If they're like, I can't do it, I don't know, then that's when we're coming to call mom and dad. Hey, mom and dad, can you come over here and assist your child with going to the bathroom? So there's that. Evacuations. Do you guys know what to do if the fire drill went off? Yes. Take a deep breath. Imagine you're in your room. Do you know what doors you're supposed to exit and where your location is? Yes. You're pointing. I know. Do you know where to go though? Like where your location is? Okay. Cool. So everybody should be meeting in the grass area or in the roundabout area. They're no longer meeting in the dirt parking lot. So again, encouraging you guys to kind of look at your map when you're in there. It should be by an exit door or like an entrance door, and it will point you into the direction you're supposed to go. Encourage your volunteers to look at it. Hey, if we need to evacuate, can you just look at that map and know where we're supposed to go? Inside your evacuation bags, first aid kits, every room has a first aid kit. Over there, it's labeled first aid kit. They're all labeled inside. They have ice marks, Band-Aids, D-chokers, gauze, gloves, you name it, we probably have it. Your scope of training, if you're not officially first aid certified or CPR, is basically giving an ice pack to a child or a Band-Aid. That's kind of the scope of our volunteers, what they can do. If more advanced things are needed, radio halls quickly. If even, I'm stuck. Even more advanced medical training needs to be happening, then we'll just radio safety on channel 1. But in the event of an emergency, fire alarms going off, whoever the teacher is, like I said, we're gonna remain calm, because if you're gonna freak out and start running around, guess what? Everybody else is gonna freak out and start running around and not know what to do. So you as leaders need to remain calm in any situation. Put on that brave face. It's gonna be okay. Follow me. I don't care. I need a smile. We're having a fire alarm. Yay. So either the teacher or your co-leader or whoever you assign, hopefully an adult, please grab the clipboard, do a quick count to know how many kids we have the kids line up on a wall, do another quick head count, and then we're all gonna exit. So the teacher will be leading the kids out to the area they're supposed to go, and there should always be like a volunteer being the caboose to make sure everybody's kind of appropriately getting out. Once you get to your location, again, you're gonna do another head count. I have my 20 kids, nobody's hurt. I have my 5 volunteers. What a blessing that would be. We're gonna hold up the green sign. That just means telling the staff, we're okay, everyone's accounted for, we're good to go. If we get out there and I'm supposed to have 20 kids, but I have 19 and 5 volunteers, and I don't know because maybe they wandered into another group, I'm going to hold up the red sign. That just means for staff to come over and come assist because either I'm missing a kid, somebody's hurt, or we just need assistance. There's that. And just for your guys' reference, safety is on channel 1. So if you ever need them, but please tell halls or our staff first before talking to them. We just talked about first aid kits, fire extinguishers. I just learned this, and I've been here for like, I don't know, 6 years. I knew they were in the building. I didn't know how many we actually had or their locations. So I just learned after all these years that there are 6 fire extinguishers in our building. There is one directly outside of Threes. There's one in the kitchen. There's one in between nursery and preschool in the hall. There is one outside of Twos. And then both elementary rooms have a fire extinguisher. So that's good to know. It's good to tell your volunteers. Code Adams. Does anybody know what a Code Adam is? If you're not looking, missing child. Good job. Yeah, VBS. So Code Adams is a code that safety has come up with to tell us that there's a missing child. So again, this kind of falls in that protocol that we were talking about of maybe kids coming in for worship and then they're not going back into the room, or I will give the example of what happened many, many years ago. So, many, many years ago, like 100 years ago, before our stickers had the grades on them, it just said names and it just gave codes. People from the halls took them to the restroom, and then they assumed that they were, I think, in another room. I'm just going to say elementary 1. I don't remember exactly. But they were supposed to be in preschool. Yeah. And we're going about our service. The end of service comes, the parent comes, and I don't know where your kid's at. And I remember distinctly, and I'll never forget it, the dad yelling the kid's name in the hallways, screaming, trying to locate his kid. The director at the time came around and was like, we're on lockdown. That's what we did back then, lockdown. Nobody's checking out. Nobody's moving. You're staying in your room until we figure this out. And the panic on some of the people's faces as this is happening, because this is a scary moment, right? Parents are entrusting us to keep our kids safe. That's why in the very beginning I talked about checking stickers. That's like the very kind of first line of defense for us. It's super important that all those kids have those stickers on them the entire time. If you see a kid without the sticker, please ask for a reprint. If there's a sticker missing on the clipboard, please find out who it belongs to and get a reprint for the sticker. Long story short, they found the kid, parents were relieved, but guess what? The parents didn't come back to church for a very long time. I'm happy to say they are back. But yeah, it's a scary moment, and it is for everybody. Even the volunteers are like, what do we do? Like, I don't know. Hopefully in the future, we will have training moments, live training moments with you guys for evacuating the buildings. Or we might call, hey, there's a code Adam or a code red, which we'll talk about. And we might do live scenarios in the classroom, and there's probably not that happening, but we want to prepare you for those moments. So when those moments do happen, it's not sheer panic. We can, if we have repetition, and we talk about this a lot, that in those moments, it's not going to be so stressful, and we're going to know what to do. So if a code Adam does happen, and you're like, hey, Sally, like, where's Sally? Hey, Michaela, have you seen Sally? Like, no, you sure? Like, can you just go, like, check the closets if you're in those elementary rooms? I'm always like, is someone gonna hide in here? Check the closets, maybe check behind the tech booth, like under the tables. I don't see Sally anywhere. Cool. Hey, Halls, can you come to ET right now? We have an emergency. Like, I can't find a kid. We have a code ad. They're gonna come kind of talk to you real quick about what's happening. Simultaneously, they're also gonna be radioing channel 1. So if I have Julie and Rochelle both in E2, trying to help the situation. Rochelle's probably talking to Alicia to find out what's happening. Julie's on channel 1 getting safety information. She's going to kind of be that relay person from CP Kids to safety, so Rochelle can kind of work with Alicia in that situation. Safety is going to come over here, and the first thing they're probably going to ask you is, what does the kid look like? What were they wearing? And I know we have a lot of kids, and that can be hard. Do your best if you remember them, especially if it's someone that you see on a regular basis, like, oh, it was Maddox. I know Maddox is about this high, he's got brown hair, and he's usually wearing a button-up shirt. You know, that kind of just helps safety a little bit to know like who we're looking for. So if you can give a description of the child, that's amazing. So basically when that happens, we're halting all activities in every single room. So that just means there's going to be no potty runs. We'll probably maybe still be doing activities within the classroom, maybe on a little bit lesser of a scale, maybe more of a big group situation, or we're going to color or do something together. So the teacher can kind of step away a little bit and talk with Rochelle or whoever else they need to talk to. But we're not going to do any checkouts. So if you have parents like, guess what, we're not going to answer, and one of our staff members will kind of go out there and be like, hey, you know, we just had a little thing happening right now. Everything's good. When everything's clear, we'll open up the doors. But right now, like, we just need to handle this. Safety will be here. Safety can also talk to those parents and kind of reassure them, like, everything's good, everything's fine, we just need a moment. Which leads me, sorry, this is probably taking a little bit longer, to your next page. We have not done this in a really long time. So this kind of came about through safety from an incident that happened, again, a couple of years ago. So this little red, yellow, green code was implemented. We changed it up a little bit because currently we're not using these codes with safety, hopefully eventually. So we kind of came up with an internal radio talk for each other. I'm sharing this with you guys because you guys are leaders, and I would like all of our teachers and co-leads and adults to kind of know this information. I'm not sure yet where we're going, if we're going to tell like everybody or just certain people, because it's kind of a unique code that we just don't want everybody and their mama to know, like what we're talking about if I'm telling you there's a code of yellow. So let's just say there's a code Adam. So that could be called out to as we're under a code red. So code just red means we're going to be high alert. So this could mean maybe there's something happening within CP Kids. We have that lost child and we don't know where they're at. Or maybe we're under a code red because something's actually happening in venue 1. And safety's telling us like, hey, you guys need to go on lockdown. We know code red is pretty much stop. Like, again, we're in our room, we're safe, we're keeping the kids busy still. We're vigilant, but we're calm, we're not freaking out. No outside activities, so that means potty runs are stopping. If you're in an outside room that has blinds like this, have one of your volunteers go around, just shut the blinds. So we're not having anybody having looky-loos outside. And then make sure your doors are locked. I'm always gonna ask you guys, if you work in a classroom that has an outside door, I know safety does come around and check our outside doors, but it's also important for you to check them as well. This room is horrible. I'm gonna flat out say it. Yes, this one will be locked, but it opens up pretty far. This one looks like it's locked, but it's not locked. Even CP Kids at night, like I'll go around and I'll be like, hello, and they're like, whoa. Yeah, that door, you need, these 2 doors especially, you need to be checking to make sure that they're fully locked. And then if they're not, just push that little handle, shut it really hard, and then push on it again. So as you can see real quickly, this door kind of opens a little bit. That one will kind of do the same, but it will actually fully open. So just always as a precaution, being a leader in the classroom, just check your doors real quick before safety does. Like, hey, I'm walking in after the 9 o'clock service, just go real quick and then go do your stuff. So for code red, we're going to shelter in place for a while. Kids are not going to get checked out until Rochelle or safety says, hey, you guys are good to go. There's an all clear. Yellow, it's moderate. We're going to be under kind of a slight lockdown. Again, you're going to check, make sure your doors are locked, the blinds are closed, no potty runs. But maybe we're going to still do a checkout, but maybe a little bit different version. So maybe we're only letting a few parents in at a time to check out kids and letting them back out. Code green, all clear, nothing to worry about, go about your business. So if we had a code admin, for instance, we found that child, Michelle might go on the radio and say, hey guys, we're code green, all clear. So that just means, cool, go about business, everything's good to go. Mhm.
Has the safety team addressed like an active shooter drill? Because that's the one I'm concerned about, that we don't know exactly what to do. Because right now I take the kids to those rooms to be safe.
So we actually, some staff and safety team and first impressions, we actually had a active shooter training probably about 2 months ago. The three of us went to it. It was amazing. The sergeant deputy guy who ran it was amazing. And he's actually willing to work with all the different ministries to come up with a plan. And one of our goals that we have is to have them, there's also another gentleman on the safety team who's a father, who's a retired cop, that is also willing to work with us and help us to come up with safety plans or say, hey, this is your weak point in here. Like, you need to fix it and this is how you fix it. So yes, active shooter, definitely be a code red. We're shutting everything down. If you're in the elementary rooms, your best place is to get into one of these closets if you can, away from windows, huddle everybody together, and maybe we're playing some quiet games. You can also, if you want, you have tables and chairs, so you can start stacking tables and chairs up in front of doors to kind of slow down the shooter. We do work at a church and we want to think that everything's safe, but sometimes we live in a scary world and we're not. So those are always important things to think about. Like, if I'm in this room and something bad is going to happen, like, what can I do to keep these kids safe? What can I do to keep myself safe? Toddlers, threes, again, you're going to close those blinds. I would stack chairs up against the doors if you can. If you can, I think you could probably stick a chair in the door so the handle doesn't open. I know there's windows. We have a lot of windows in our building, so it's kind of hard to prevent stuff, but just kind of keeping the kids quiet if you can. Keep them out of sight of the windows is best. So, yes.
They can also go into the kitchen. Is that door?
For that room, yeah.
Yeah.
Babies, just stay down low. But yes, that is something we're hoping to work with those sheriff department, Marietta police people, to come up with a plan, because that is in the back of everybody's mind. So, any other questions?
I just want. Just for safety and everything else, everybody has to wear a walkie. Everybody has to keep in their ear. If you're a teacher and there's potty runs, I suggest that you guys get your sidekick or your aide or somebody to wear the walkie, so that way you're not teaching and calling for potty runs. Only because if you don't have this in your ear and we have an emergency, you're not gonna know. So give it to one of your people, or we're trying to encourage the people in nursery to wear one now too, because you need to hear, for one, and for two, when parents are checking in or checking out, they don't need to hear all the chatter that's going on on the walkies between all of us. And same with threes. So try and keep those earpieces in your ears. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
In an evacuation situation, what do I do if all my kids run?
Do you have
Getting them to hold up.
no?
Imagineers to hold
That's something we can work on and figure out.
Almost. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's
So,
extra
I
people
know
that,
we have runners.
yeah,
So,
there's extra people leaving
yeah.
school.
I'm like, do I just like, okay, red go,
I don't know if they would wear those backpack things with the
Yeah.
dog leash, but potentially, yeah. Any other questions? I don't wanna like bypass anything if something's like, you're thinking about it, but you don't wanna say it. I'm sure someone else is thinking about it. I know some of this, like I said, you probably knew 90% of this. Just keep, I won't say keep looking at it, but we're always gonna go over it so it's fresh in your mind. That way when we do have the real life situations, you're not panicking. You can kind of go auto mode of like, this is the steps that we're gonna do. If you have new volunteers, train them. You guys are leaders in your room. We now have Marissa and Christina who are also gonna step in and do a lot of training. They might come up to you and be like, hey, what are we gonna do in a code ad? They're not trying to like shame you or anything. They just want to make sure that you guys know what to do in an emergency. Going once? And at any point, anytime in your serving career, always ask for clarity if you don't know what to do. Like, no question is off limits, no question is silly. Even if you heard us say it or we told you 1,000 times and you're just like, I'm sorry, I just don't remember what we're supposed to do. Do it. I always say clear is kind. So the more clarity that we can give you, the more that you can understand, the better everything's gonna flow. Another thing you guys might not know, and lastly, is our ouch reports and incidents reports. I gave you blank copies so you can look at it. Anytime a child gets hurt in the classroom, an ouch report needs to be filled out. So just radio halls and be like, hey, Julie, can I get an ouch report? Basically, an ouch report is just documentation of what actually happened to the child. And then we're going to give, there's basically a carbon copy of it. So the parent's going to get the white copy. You're going to keep the yellow copy to give to Ms. Rochelle. But you're just going to fill it out. Who got hurt, the time, the classroom, the teacher on duty, what happened, was it outside, was it inside? Who observed the incident, brief description of the injury. The more details that you can give about it, the better. So let's just say Ben was running in the classroom, he tripped on the rug and scratched his knee. First aid was given, so basically we washed the knee, Band-Aid was given, TLC was given, and then who administered that. You're gonna sign it, and then you're gonna radio halls, and a staff member is gonna come and sign it off. They're gonna read it and make sure it sounds okay. And you're gonna give that top copy to the parent, and then the bottom copy stays with us. The incident report is for kids who are having a difficult time in class. So let's just say they're biting kids, they're hitting kids. So you're gonna fill out an incident report for the kid that is doing the bad, not the bad thing, not the right thing. So, the one who's biting, the one who's hitting. And then if they actually hurt somebody, then you're gonna also do an ouch report for the kid who was hurt. So you could be doing two. In the incident report, it's really important to not give names of the other child that was hurt. You're only talking about Ben. So if Ben was in my classroom and I said, Ben, description of incident, Ben got upset that the other child did not want to share the dinosaur, and Ben bit the child. I'm not gonna say Ben bit Michaela, Ben bit Michael, it's just another child. This is just to protect the kid in case the parents meet and be like, hey, like your kid bit my kid, what the heck? Like, we don't want any of that. Action plans, how are we gonna help this child in the future? If you don't know, maybe talk to Rochelle or talk to another staff member of like, what are we gonna do, right? Maybe this kid's a constant biter, so maybe we just have to be like, hey, the parent is now gonna have to come and serve with us for a service to try to get Ben to not bite, and maybe Ben sadly can't come for a service just because we need to get this under control because the safety of all kids are important. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
On the ouch report, I do this. I don't know if anybody else does it, but are we supposed to contact the parent for like, first aid, TLC, wash band? I always put contact the parent, just let them know, hey, so-and-so fell, scratched his knee, we gave him a Band-Aid, just wanted to give you a heads up, he's okay. but that's what I.
Okay. I would especially do that for like major like head injuries. Obviously, we're gonna call a parent to have them come check them out. That's good. I still would do it just out of precaution. Yeah. Always just err on the side of caution when doing things.
We don't need to do them though, if they pick their own skin.
Yeah, if they're picking their scab, a paper cut, I probably wouldn't do, but if you know it was something that happened within the classroom, they were running, they shouldn't be running, but they did, or someone whacked another kid, like, they may look fine, but we still need to do a match report.
Yay, let's give Kim a hey.